Hello, welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brock's Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of July 7th, 2021. It's a fairly large week for me this week, so let's get right up into it. First up, we have Basilisk number 2. The first one is interesting, so I'm going to keep going with it, see how it does. But Cullen Bunn, his work is hit or miss for me, so we'll see if I continue with it. But I did enjoy issue 1 enough to go to issue 2. Next up is Batman number 110. I'm so far behind on Batman, it's not even funny, so I don't have much to say right now. Apparently people are loving it, it's great, so I cannot wait to dive in to the handful of issues I have not read. Next up we have Batman The Adventures Continue Season 2, Issue 2. The Batman Adventures stuff is really cool. It harkens back to the 90s cartoon, which is really, really good. I need to rewatch it. Because I've only seen a spattering of episodes. So, yeah. Next up is the last issue in this miniseries, and that is Batman Fortnite 0 point number 6 of 6. So if you've got all 6 of these wonderful issues with the codes, you can now unlock the Armored Batman that is in the book, and so you probably should take advantage of that and getting some more free content in Fortnite if you play that. Next up, we have Batman Secret Files, The Signal number 1. This is just a one-shot, I believe, about The Signal. I don't know if they're bringing them back, the Batman Secret Files stuff, but we shall see. But I'm curious to see what this story about Signal is about. Next up is Steve Orlando's Commanders in Crisis number 10 of 12. It's an okay series. It's not something that I'm like, oh, you must read this. It's definitely an interesting concept. I'm excited to see where it ends, but it's definitely one that's most likely going to get purged once I'm done. Next up, we have Crime Syndicate number 5 of 6. If you have not read it, I'm pretty close. I've only read, I think, issue 1 and 2, so I need to get caught up on it. But I've enjoyed what I've read so far, so we'll see how well that miniseries is in the later issues. Next up is Crush and Lobo number 2 of 8. I have not yet read issue 1. So I'm just being a sucker and buying the issues, but you know, hey, it's Tamaki, and she does normally a really good job. So next up is a long title, and that's DC Horror Presents The Conjuring the Lover, number 2 of 5. I actually read the first one as a couple stories set in whatever universe this horror universe is, but it's interesting, and I enjoyed it for what it was, so I'm going to keep going with it. Next up, we have Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's Geiger, number 4. I need to read issue 3, but I've been enjoying it, what I've read so far. And Johns, normally when he's not spread thin, his work is amazing, and he's not spread thin right now. So definitely check out Geiger. Next up, we have Green Lantern, number 4. A bunch of stuff happening in the Green Lantern universe, so we'll see what this entails with these two being apparently the last Lanterns standing. But yeah. Next up is Gillen March's Carmen number 5. I really enjoyed the first 3 issues of this. I have not yet read issue 4, but it's a really, really good, thought-provoking series, and I do highly, highly recommend it. Next up, we have Justice League 64. Bendis has done a fine job on Justice League. It's entertaining. I like Ram V's backup for in the Justice League Dark story that's in this, but both are really good. So yeah, if you're not reading Justice League, you might want to check it out. Sorry for the pound. Got to keep the stack organized, right? Next up, we have one for the kiddos, and that's Justice League Infinity number 1. If your kids are curious on what comics and you want them to read something, Infinity will be more aimed at their age range. It's based on the cartoon, so I do recommend it as something for the younger kids. Next up is the next Batman Second Son number 4 of 4. I'm not too keen on this series. It's kind of just slow. I'm not a huge fan of what they've done with the Foxes. It's weird. It doesn't fit right. I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to be reading. I feel like I missed a huge section of the Fox history. Maybe it was stuff that was happening in Batwing that I didn't finish reading or what. But there's a lot that I'm just like, eh. Not that it's horrible. It's just nothing has really happened in this miniseries, so we'll see. Next up is one that people say is good, but I haven't read issue 1, and that's Nice House on the Lake. So I picked up issue 2, so I'm gonna dive in as soon as I get to it. There's literally a long box sitting back here over here that is little over halfway full of books, and I'm about to add another chunk in there to get to 3/4. And so I'm going to have to sit down and just plow through a lot of comic books coming up soon. So I'll keep you updated if I get to do that. Next up is Scott Snyder and Tony S. Daniels' Nocterra #5. Nocterra has been really good. I cannot wait to read issue 5. I think I'm 1 issue behind, so I need to read issue 4. But great stuff from Scott Snyder. It's good to see. It's nice to see like a different thing from him besides the superhero stuff. Next up, we have one that may or may not be a buzz book, so you might not have been able to get a copy. Who knows? I'm just picked it up to check it out. But that's Ordinary Gods, #1 from Image, and I believe it's from Kyle Higgins. Let me just double check the creator on this. Yes, Kyle Higgins, and the artist is Felipe Watanabe. So I'm really curious about this book. I saw it in previews, and so I pre-ordered it. But it might be one of those things that becomes like, ooh, spec book, new #1, Image. So be wary of that. But definitely, if you're wanting to check out something new, might give Ordinary Gods a try. I am. Next up, we have Sensational Wonder Woman #5. If there seems to be a running theme in here of issue 5s, there is, because all of these books came out at the same time. But yeah, I've been enjoying the Sensational Wonder Woman stories. That it's just collections. It's just a couple stories for Wonder Woman. Good stuff. Next up is Skybound X. This is the anniversary thing. I don't know. It's something. I don't know what this thing is. It's celebrating 10 years of storytelling for Skybound, I guess. So this has a Clementine story in it, a Manifest Destiny story in it, which I'm interested in. Something from Ultra Mega. I'm not a huge fan, and apparently Rick Grimes with a lightsaber. So we'll see what that all entails. But Skybound is doing this kind of as a, I'm not sure if it's a miniseries or just a series of issues that are celebrating Skybound. But yeah, check it out if you get a chance. Next up is Star Wars Adventures and #6. This one's mainly for my son, so hopefully he gets to reading it and enjoying it. Next up is Suicide Squad #5. There's that 5 again. I've been enjoying Suicide Squad so far in this iteration in this series. Thompson's done a decent job on it, so can't wait to see where it is. And in a month, we get the Suicide Squad movie. Yes. And we also get Black Widow in like 2 days. So yeah, we're getting back to it. But of course, I'm going to be watching these in the comfort of my own home on Disney Plus for Black Widow this weekend, and HBO Max for Suicide Squad next month, at the beginning of next month. Next up, we have Swamp Thing #5 of 10. Ram V's done a fantastic job on this book. I did not actually read the last issue, so I'm behind, but I'm going to get caught up. But I love the Swamp Thing that he's presented. It's really solid. If you can, go try and track down the issues and read it. Otherwise, wait and pick up the trade when it comes out, because it is worth it. Next up, we have Walking Dead Deluxe #18, which means I'm on trade #3. So I probably should sit down and just plow through these. But yeah, I will, and I am, but I'm just not there yet. And finally on my pull list is Wonder Girl #2. Joelle Jones did a fantastic job with issue 1. Her art's amazing, and I just can't wait to dive into issue 2. So yeah, so that's it for, sorry. That's it for my pull list. Those are the issues I brought home. It's about 25 this week, which is a lot. Which means the variant stack is going to be pretty hefty too. But so let's get through that. First up, we have Batman 110. I decided to get the Jacques. Is the Jacques variant, I believe? Yeah. Awesome stuff. So I grabbed that one. Batman Fortnite Batman Fortnite 0.6 had a B cover and a premium cover, so I snagged both of those up. Crime Syndicate had a pretty cool, or 5 had a pretty cool cover with the Bad Flash and Atomica there. Crush and Lobo 2 had a really cool variant cover I picked up. Geiger came out with a second print. Yeah, second print for issue 3, so I picked up the Glowing Skull second print of that. And then for 4, we have Brad Walker on cover B. On cover C, who is this? I'm not sure who this is. Somebody who probably watches this knows. But I grabbed cover C, and of course the other Gary Frank cover, which is cover D. So I picked all those up for Geiger. And Nocterra, picked up variants for Nocterra. I grabbed that one there. the other Tony Daniel one there. I grabbed up this one, which is I think the guy who did the Archie Frank Cavill. I don't know. Let's see. And then we have Sensational Wonder Woman at number 5. Had a pretty cool variant, so I snagged that one up. Suicide Squad 5, of course, had the Crime Syndicate on there, so I'm curious to see what that's all about. Swamp Thing had an amazing variant cover. Really cool stuff on issue 5 there. And Wonder Girl, of course, had a couple variants. I picked variant B and the Pride Month variant. Woo! Even though Pride Month's over, we still get some Pride. So that's the variants I picked up and all the single issues. I did grab some graphic novels this time. And first one is the Star Wars High Republic, The Race to Crash Point Tower by Daniel Jose Oliver. Or Older, sorry. And yeah, apparently this is book 2. This is a middle-age book. It's actually a book. It's not a cartoon thing. Actual book. But this is more aimed at younger kids, so I picked this up for my kids to check out that. But I need to actually apparently go back and get another book because this is book 2. Because different writers are doing different books in the High Republic series. So in the adult ones, Charles Soule did the first one, and then I can't remember who did the next one. Kevin Scott did The Rising Storm, which is the next one. And the same goes for the younger kids books. Apparently, it's one artist is doing this, and another another writer is doing one, and then 2 is done by another writer. So, but I picked that up. Check it out. Another old, no longer High Republic, but it's the Old Republic, which is somewhat similar. I got the Star Wars The Old Republic Omnibus Volume 1. The main reason I got this bad boy, and this is, I think, the other cover on it, not the main cover. I preferred this one. The main reason I got this is all of the stuff that's collected in this was collected in the Epic collections that I owned that got destroyed, that are no longer in print. So if you watched this channel, you saw that I got an Volume 4 of the Old Republic a few weeks ago, or about a month ago. This is all the stuff before it that would have been in Volumes 1, 2, and 3. So I'm glad I got this. It replaces a whole bunch of stuff that was lost. And it's not like if I had to replace those 3 volumes of those 3 Epic collections, it would have been about the same cost as this bad boy of $125. But you can find it a little cheaper on Amazon right now. There's a link on conspiratorbrock.com for this. That's the Amazon ad one. I think it's $112 right now. But this is the much cheaper way to go, especially since the other ones are out of print. The paper, or the Epic Collection soft covers are out of print and going for almost as much as this thing is by themselves. So I got the content, I got the material. It's split, it sucks, but it's better than not having it. So, and finally, there's one thing I wanted to talk about this week, and that is we got shorted it last week, but it finally came in this week, and that is DC Connect. We are finally getting back to having a physical solicitation for DC Comics. So as most of you know about, so I've already dog-eared, look at that. DC last year switched over, during the pandemic, switched over to creating a new distribution company called Lunar, and basically went away from Diamond. When they did that, DC Connect was what you would get as a separate magazine with previews. Much like the Marvel previews, you would get separately. Now DC was separate. It was no longer in the Diamond catalog before that. And they had done this for about a year or so prior to leaving Diamond and going to Lunar. But what happened was they got rid of, when they went over to Lunar, they got rid of their physical solicitation. They said, we are only going straight digital. And so they went digital, and basically I think this is a perfect example of what a solicitation should be. It's thin, first off. Let me see if I can grab the Marvel one real quick for you guys. My desk has a lot of stuff on it, so gotta move some stuff around. So a normal previews magazine, and this is the previews that we just got for July for stuff on sale in September. A normal previews magazine is roughly about this thick. That's because it does individual companies. Image is still in here. Dark Horse, IDW, Boom, Valiant, Dynamite, all of those things. They're in there. They take up a fair amount of. They take up about that much of the previews. The rest of this previews is independent books here, and then manga, and then you have like games, and then this is all the toys and stuff. So previews is a hefty sized magazine for a solicitation, but as streamlined as it can be, this is a decent, not too bad for the amount of content that's in it. Marvel's pulled out of previews a long time ago and put their own solicitation together, and that sucker is this thick. They devote entire pages to, like, this is a 2-page spread for one book. It's honestly really just a waste of paper. I mean, the cover stock is probably about a little bit better than the cover stock that they actually print their books on, but the interior pages are that flimsy, nasty stuff. And so it's thick, it's kind of annoying, and it's almost wasteful in the sense of what they're putting in here. They're trying to get more content than they would in the previews magazine, and more pages, I should say. So that's why I think they moved out of being in previews. Plus, they also were always constantly being like, well, we need to be on the cover, and previews couldn't play favorites, and so they had to rotate, and whatever. Anyway, I'm getting past what I was going to say. This DC Connect, though, is roughly that, well, let's better do it this way. It's roughly that thin. It is, according to the page count here, it is roughly 40 pages of solicitation content. The Marvel previews pushes 44 pages. So over 100 pages more in here is such a waste. You can get it down, shrunk down. It's like all of this is the checklist on the back. This is what DC's needed to have been doing for a long time, and I think they finally did it with this, which I don't mind. I don't mind just a list in the back of the regular stuff that's coming out. Like, I don't mind that. I think they might expand a little bit more on their collected editions. Like, they merged comic books and collected editions here because, look, one collected edition instead of maybe giving an extra space. They still have some stuff to play around. They still have space, but definitely much smaller, definitely more manageable. But I think the biggest reason they brought it back is they saw a huge dip in initial orders. So for those of you that don't understand how ordering in comic books works, I'm going to give a quick little breakdown here. For those of you who do, sorry, this might be a little boring, but for those that you don't know or are unaware, comic books are basically ordered about 3 months in advance, and then they are finalized about 3 to 4 weeks out from the initial date, or from the date they're released. So, like I said, previews, this is the July previews for 2021, which is books on sale in September of 2021. It's on the spine, okay? Now, initial order for this book goes in at the end of July. So we get this book at the end of June. We have until about the early 20s, mid 20s to place our orders, and that's what's called an initial order. So we have time to look at this, we have time to process this, we have time to see how much we need out of it, all that stuff, and then we put in what's called initial order. That is the initial order that retailers send to the distributor to say, hey, this is the amount of product that we want. Because the distributors then contact Marvel and DC and all the independent companies and say, this is how much we want based off of how much the stores want. And so that's kind of like initially my guess is what they do. What happens is before books go to print, because books go to print about 3 weeks before they're actually shipped out. So the final orders put in, the books are printed, and then they start making their way. They're printed, they're packaged, they're sent to the distributor. The distributor then distributes them out. And so it's basically, they spend about a week and a half getting to the distributor, and then about a week and a half getting to, or a week to the distributor, and a week, whatever. That's shipping breakdown stuff, never mind. But what happens is that there is one other time to order, and you're guaranteed, unless there's a catastrophe, to get the amount of books unless it's some weird ass thing that some companies have pulled, like IDW with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, the Last Ronin book, or some independent books that like just literally like a lot's maybe 1 or 2 copies to a store if they order it at all. So yeah, who knows? Besides that, you should get your product that you order by what's called last call for orders, or FOC, or final order cutoff. I believe that DC saw a huge drop in their initial orders for the past year due to the fact that they were only a digital. It was a digital PDF. Like, you had to go through a PDF that would load and took time loading and wasn't something that was easily usable. It wasn't something that was easily, like, with a physical, I could actually dog ear the page and then individually go through the dog ears and, you know, highlight and pay attention and read and pay more and all that. Whereas with the online and just digital, it's like, oh, look, I can flip through and go kind of see, but the stores weren't using that. Like, we use Comic Hub, and so we're not even looking at the DC solicitation order. We're looking directly at what we've dumped in, the information that we get from Lunar. And so when we put in our initial order, it's just page in our system, because it filters all of it and makes it easier. But a lot of stores don't utilize things like Comic Hub or technology to improve ordering and all of that stuff. And so they relied heavily on getting this. Now, DC tried to improve it, so by giving you those posters. Remember those posters I brought home and showed you, and they said, look, there's a checklist for all the books that are out or coming out. They attempted to do that. That's like the tiniest amount they could do. I really think they didn't get the initial number of orders that they wanted. And I think that they saw that because there was because of those initial numbers being so low, the orders at final order cutoff were potentially lower than they possibly could have been if people actually sat down and read and looked through a physical solicitation. So I'm glad it's back. It makes me so much more excited about ordering DC products than I'm just like, oh wait, I'll wait till FOC to put my order in. Because I really don't want to go through all of a month's worth of product all at once on a PDF file and try and remember what I want from that PDF file. And yeah, it took way too much work, so I just didn't do it. Now, got it back again. Can use a little tweaking, but I think it's a good start. So that was a fairly long rant, sorry, but thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you want, you can leave a comment down in the comment section below, right down there. Let me know what you're thinking, or not thinking necessarily. Let me know what you're reading, what you're picking up. If you have any questions, comments, all that. Keep it nice. Let's keep this area of the internet a welcoming space and all that fun stuff. You can listen to me on the Comics Conspiracy podcast. We just finished recording episode 507. We talk a little bit about the passing of Richard Donner, which was really, really sad. Since he brought basically the first real, in my opinion, the first real superhero movie to the big screen, and that was with Superman and Superman 2. So it's a huge loss to an industry that owes really a lot to Richard Donner, especially through people like Jeff Johns and Kevin Feige. So yeah, but we talk more on that. Check out the episode. We also talk a little more about Loki, episode 4, with the end credit scene, where apparently my buddy Ryan and boss and co-host doesn't understand what a destroyed Avengers Tower looks like in the background of that shot, and he says it's not back there. I think he's one of those ones that falls for those stupid internet, like, this looks like this thing, but he does. I don't know. He's on something if you can't see it. But yeah. Hope everyone enjoyed episode 5. I did. It was really fun. I'm curious to see what happens next, but we'll see. It can only be good, right? So yeah, I'm enjoying Loki despite some things, but I think it's definitely one where I would probably have liked it in like 3 episodes that were like an hour and a half to an hour 45 minutes long, versus 6 episodes of just kind of like 45-50 minutes. But who knows? All right. You can also help me and my fellow conspirators out through Patreon at www.patreon.com/comicsconspiracy. For as low as $1 a month, you help us with hosting fees and getting products. So thank you very much to all of our Patreon backers. It helps out immensely. You can help me out a little more directly by buying anything through an Amazon link here at conspiratorbrock.com. Yeah, I'll get a little cut back from Amazon, which is not very much, but hey, every little bit helps. Or you can head over to my eBay page where most likely this weekend I'll be putting up some more stuff and purging. But yeah, I get rid of stuff, and you might want to see what I have, and you might want a copy of it. And so you can buy it from me, and that helps me. Thank you. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle's @BrockSager. Yeah, got it back. And that's it. I have a ton of stuff I'm reading. I have a ton of stuff to read. I actually just finished a book that was really good by Becky Chambers called The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. I normally don't beat books up. I don't beat books up like this. This is a library copy from the Sunnyvale Library. But I really, really enjoyed it. I actually picked up the next book in the series up there. And so it's on my stack of stuff to read. But I really, really enjoyed it. It was a good, quick read, solid. It was fun. It wasn't necessarily anything that I would say was super, super exciting, but Becky Chambers really did a good job invoking feeling in the book. And I do highly, highly recommend it. If you get a chance, check it out. It's The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. What I'm currently reading is Like Lions by Brian Panowich. I'm almost a little over halfway. So I'm almost done with this. I'll probably finish this up possibly today. Who knows? But this was the Bull Mountain, second book in the Bull Mountain series. So I'm really enjoying it. It's really, really good. It harkens to like Sons of Anarchy, if you like that TV show. And not really Breaking Bad, but yeah, it's good stuff. So yeah, and I also did finish Pierce Anthony's A Spell for Chameleon on the Kindle. Marshall, my coworker, gave me his old Kindle e-reader, and so I tested it out with getting A Spell for Chameleon because it's a book that I really enjoyed as a kid. And so I finished that one up, and now I'm on Neil Gaiman's Smoke and Mirrors, his collections of short stories, and so reading that on the Kindle. So a lot of stuff to read. Yeah, I'm gonna probably go take a nap now. No, I'm not. I'll see you guys next week.